Mm, hello?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Mm, yep, I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
All right. How's your day going so far?
Been going okay. Just chilling at home and watching a little bit of that major going on.
Oh yeah, that's what is it? B4.
Battle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the exact name for it. Hmm, alrighty. Well, I got a quick question for you here. Did
Okay.
you want to for the session? We can go kind of like in two ways for it because I know you didn't want to actually do like any playing like online.
Mhm.
So I did have something like some topics like written down and prepared beforehand about what you wanted to discuss. So we can either
Mhm.
start by watching the VOD, or we can actually just start talking about the topics. Either way works perfectly with me. However you feel.
Um, we can. Could we like watch the VOD and then like talk about the topics when they show up? I guess.
Yeah, sure, that works for me. Let me go ahead and
Okay.
just share that real quick.
Okay.
Let's see here. All right, are you able to see my screen right now? Hello.
Yeah, I can see it. I think. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
And
gonna have to use my phone. My computer's not wanting to work. My
okay.
audio, my headphones just not working with it for some reason.
Okay, that's no problem. How about the how it's playing right now? Does it seem like it's any issues with that or
No, I can see everything. I'm just watching it through my phone.
okay, not a problem. So let me see if I can maybe oh okay, sorry, yeah, pretty good quality. So we'll just go ahead and just rock it with that. So
Yeah, that's the stream quality. It's not super high, but it's watchable at the very least, I think.
right, exactly. Okay, so I'll go back over to the doc real quick and go back into the VOD review section. So basically, the things like I'll kind of probably be watching for is as listed as like the times that you're choosing the edge guard or ledge guard, any disadvantage habits that you have or any general habits um,
Hmm.
that you might have that I might bring up as well. But we'll kind of just watch the first game and then just like after that just you know talk about what we kind of saw from there.
Sure.
Oh, that's actually crazy that banana stopped you. Thought that was going to be a good corner pressure situation.
Hmm. It's a little bit choppy on my end. Is it choppy on yours?
It isn't, but I know what normally fixes it is, I'll stop right here. So if you actually exit out and then re-enter, because that's actually an issue with Discord streaming. So yeah, if you exit out of the stream and then come right back in, it usually fixes it.
Okay.
So scroll back a little bit and then replay some so you're not missing anything. So let me know when you're back
Hmm.
in.
I'm in again.
Okay. How's it looking right now?
Um. Okay, I think it fixed it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's looking fine.
Ooh, really big call out on the roll there.
Yeah. Oh, so I wasn't real. I was looking more for a monkey flip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I understand that there.
Hmm.
Okay. Oh. Oh, is it? No, I was about to say Diddy's recovery is a little okay. Um,
Hmm.
oh, that's unfortunate. Well, trade for
That
stock.
those barrels are gonna happen several times this set,
Oh, really?
unfortunately. Yeah, there was quite a lot of dumb stuff that happened.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it's good. It wasn't. I mean, it was trade of stock, so wasn't the
Hmm.
worst thing ever.
Yeah, it gets worse though.
All right. Well, let's see.
Hmm.
Okay, so there's that. Oh, barely didn't make it back there.
Hmm.
Mhm. So something I've kind of picked up a little bit on right now is just more so like disadvantage.
Hmm.
A common thing that you like to actually do when you're in disadvantage, like off stage, is like you'll want to actually kind of jump and try and land back on stage
Sure.
quite a bit. Is that like something that like you being afraid of like not being at the ledge and just want to actually skip that phase and just get back on as soon as possible, or do you have like kind of a reason for it?
Um, Not
Okay.
necessarily. I mean, Ridley's pretty solid on the ledge. Got a good ledge hang. Um, some of it is, at least later on this set, it's to try and grab banana as well. Um, it
Oh,
kind of depends. Sometimes I'll just be overextending, and if I try and up B directly to stage, it's usually just me trying to call something out.
mm-hmm. Let's see here.
1 sec, I'm buffering a bit again. Give me a quick sec.
Okay. Okay. Oh, hello. I'll take a look here since I know it's being recorded right now, and I'll try and find some examples of what I was meaning for those disadvantage jump ons. Let's see. Oh, you back? Oh, guess not. Uh, it's a big, I understand why.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep, I can.
Okay, cool.
Let's Yeah, I was just scooting back and trying to see if I could find like example of some things. So answer this,
Mhm.
that. But yeah,
One
once.
thing I
Mm-hmm.
sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. It's your session. Go right ahead.
One thing I feel like I picked up on this set was just banana play, especially just picking it up. There were a couple things I noticed I applied after watching him do it.
Like from like when he's trying to grab it, or
Yeah, like I'll see like things that he does to grab banana, and then I'll like try to apply it, and it works sometimes.
ooh, okay. Yeah, I'll be excited to see a little of that further on in the set here. But where is yeah, that one moment that I was kind of talking about, I think it passed a little bit ago. I
I
will
recovered on stage, or
yeah, like you covered on let's see here. I think it was a little before this. So yeah, so you recovered back on that you jumped on and and you said like basically a lot of times you'll do it to like either hard call out something or try to get banana basically. Like say yeah, that up B like the hard call out something there. Um
Mhm.
or yeah, right here. So like so this jump one right
Yeah.
there. Is that one of those times where like you're trying to get banana basically or
So I think right here I just recognized that I had space here. I felt like there was no real need for me to go to ledge, as as opposed to being scared of being on ledge. I saw that I have platform here. He just tossed banana, so basically it's sort of one of these situations where he's either going to go for banana or go for me and not go for his banana. So I knew that I sort of had options at this point.
okay. So kind of make him make a decision um instead to go either go to banana and give up that position or go to you and fight you.
Yeah, because I think I reacted to his banana and I was like, all right, I can just get onto stage. I still had a second, my other double jump, so I knew that if I got hit off stage, I would be fine because I could still recover.
Okay, yeah, I can see what you're meaning by that there. Um, especially since he decided to go towards a banana in that situation. I just
Hmm.
think kind of in a situation like that, for if I was in kind of like scrub situation,
Yeah.
it makes sense for him to go towards banana, but probably further situations when he sees that you're landing on stage like that, just like what he just
Hmm.
tried to do there.
Okay.
Even though you probably tried to go and grab the banana there. The moment
Yeah.
that he saw that, last time he plucked banana, you tried to just land on stage. He already decided to go on like below you and try to actually punish you. Granted, you were able to get the fair out in time. Um,
Hmm.
this was just kind of that little situation I was talking about. That I was just thinking where, even though Scrub has the choice to go for a banana or go for you, if you're kind of jumping on stage like this when he's still not too much like in recovery from like throwing banana, he'll more than likely try to push you back off stage and then go and grab banana and then set up ledge pressure now because he pushed you back off and got banana.
Hmm.
So it's not to say like it was a bad thing to do. I just think like it's just a little worrisome when he's kind of that close when he plucks banana. Like if he was maybe a little closer to center stage and a little closer to center stage right as soon as he plucked, I can understand just trying to land back on like that if that makes sense or if you had questions about that.
Yeah, and I think also like right now it's first stock, first game.
Right.
He had a huge lead on me, so I could have been just a little bit holding in more, try and get back in the game a bit.
Mm-hmm. All right, but yeah, let's go a little further here. Okay, push off. He does have banana to mess with. So actually here, we'll bring up this situation here about going off about like either deciding to go off stage or go just to stay on ledge.
Hmm.
So from this position, Scrub has already used his jump, and
Yeah.
he is so basically he already used his jump, so we know he kind of needs to up B already. Are you feeling more comfortable that like you'll get him with like a 2-frame from here with like F tilt? Because I'm not too sure.
Yeah, so
I'm not too
that's
familiar with Ridley in that if F tilts are like really good for like what is it? Two framing. Which if it is,
Yeah,
like I don't blame you for trying to go for that.
F tilt is a good option here. I mean, I messed up the spacing, so it wasn't going to work. Also here, I knew I didn't really want to try and run off stage to hit him because he's really close to the wall, so it'd be hard for me to maneuver around and get there with my airspeed. So I thought that it would be the safest and just easiest option right here to go for a 2-frame.
Okay, because
tournament I don't edge guard as much. I do opt for ledge trapping, and in the set before this against Jesse, he was going Bowser, and my ledge trapping was just feeling really on point. So usually I don't, especially against like recoveries I'm not too familiar with, which I got more familiar with Diddy over time.
Yeah.
But you'll usually just stick to ledge trapping, especially since I'm at such a high percent. I don't want to put myself in potentially disadvantage trying to
just trying to go after him basically when you're already kind of like at a high percent yourself. Okay, let's see, let's keep watching on here, because this is where you both trade stocks, I think, after you pushed them off.
I might have been able to shield there. I'm not sure. Fireballs are kind of laggy. Wasn't going to be able to react to it that time, at least.
Okay. Okay. So there was that other jump in again, but I think in this situation it was, I think, a good call for it because because he basically just plucked. So you're getting the timings of like when he's deciding he wants to pluck and just take that time to just land back on.
Yeah, and I knew that I have multiple jumps, so I can still, when I'm right there, I can still drift back off stage if I feel like I need to. Right there, I drifted away because I saw him run towards me, and I was just like, yeah, I'm going to get out of there. There, I should have probably ran off and nared. I might have done that later in this set, but right now, especially, it's still trying to figure out the character because I've only played a few Diddies.
Oh, okay, so still not too familiar with it. Good grab there from Banana, or grabbing it yourself from him. Another grab on the Banana. Okay.
And there I was ready for the barrels because like I'm probably gonna get hit here, so I just held shield immediately.
Does this kill? Oh, okay, it killed. So I'm thinking just from this first game, I'm not like there's not really like things that I'm saying like that are really bad like with your disadvantage, because it's not like you're completely landing on top of someone when you're trying to actually land onto when you're trying to get on stage or anything. Normally disadvantage, like at least from like the ledge, you're normally trying to actually either go to ledge or like get or not from the ledge, but like from landing, you're normally trying to actually just like get away from someone as much as possible. So this might be just those few things that I kind of pointed out that like we'll just keep a watch out for, about like just gauging when you decide to ledge guard or edge guard, and also maybe a little bit of that jumping thing. But if that is why you kind of get like punished and disadvantaged quite a bit, but we'll see.
Yeah. I do air dodge in a lot after getting hit, Noticed that a couple times already.
Oh, okay. Okay, no. Yep, don't let him get away with that. Let spell say good dash attack punish there.
Is that air dodge in again? That dash attack off of whip moves is like a really defining part of this set.
Because of it, whip punish things that he's trying to set up, basically, or.
Yeah, well, that and also there are a couple moments where it's huge, where either he gets the shield out and kills me off of it, or I can get big damage or stage control off of it.
Right? Oh no! No,
I
was wondering if that was actually going to trade there.
Can you go back a little bit? I had someone come in for a sec.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, that barrel.
Yeah.
Barrel thing there
barrel board
connected.
mash.
Yeah, it's not being too much of an issue as much as I had thought. In like the first part of it. It's just, for me personally, it would just seem like something that maybe you'd be a little careful of, because I do understand like Ridley does have multiple jumps and things like that, but the issue, well actually I'll stop right here since I have like some ideas about it for disadvantage. So let me go into this section here. So in disadvantage, a question I actually have for you about it is, what is the goal of disadvantage?
I guess my biggest goals as Ridley is to limit the amount of damage I take. I'm pretty comfortable being in disadvantage. I feel like when I'm getting comboed, I'm combo food. I mean, I play Parmesan, who's a really good pit player, and other combo characters in bracket, where I know that if I'm gonna get hit, I'm gonna take like 60 sometimes and more. I'm pretty comfortable at just not really letting it happen, but knowing when it's going to happen, and instead of rushing out of disadvantage, just mitigating how much damage I'm going to take, if that makes sense. Like, I'm very fine with just disengaging if I have to, even, instead of like rushing to get out of it, because sometimes I'll notice, like, if I try and rush out of disadvantage, I'm just going to get comboed again.
So from what I'm hearing, you're saying like your goal is basically that you see with disadvantage is like limit as much damage as possible and not like rushing out of it.
Yeah, no, I recognize that, hey, I'm in disadvantage. This happens as Ridley. Try and limit as much as I am going to be in disadvantage, but accepting that this is part of the character that I play, and just being okay with it really helps, because I think the worst thing you can do is panic when you're at disadvantage.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And that's actually good summary of disadvantage that I'd actually let someone know too. The only thing that I would actually say to add on to it is that when you actually think of disadvantage for Ridley, it's disadvantage kind of for every character, because every character wants to limit as much damage as possible, or not really they should be focusing on not rushing out of it. Like even people who, because there's characters that have really good tools to get out of disadvantage, but for them to just like, if they keep using that good tool to get out of disadvantage every single time, there's always counterplay to things that people do. So they'll just see, the counterplay that, hey, they're doing this really good option to get out of disadvantage. So I'm either going to punish it right now, or if I can't punish it as it's happening, punish it afterwards.
Sure.
So yeah, so every character, I think, in my opinion, has that idea of trying to limit as much damage as possible and not rushing out of it. And even adding on to that, I think the overall major goal of disadvantage is
not
to
dying.
Well, there is that, but the ultimate major goal of disadvantage is just to return to neutral. Because it makes sense when you actually see how people, like, in your disadvantages, when you're in disadvantage, you're limited in like how many options that you have compared to someone who's in advantage who has all the options available. So you consider that unfair. So in order for it to be fair for you back, you want to actually return back to neutral, because in neutral, that's where you have all your options again, and then you're allowed to play the game again.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is for, like, when you're off stage, like when you're being edge guarded, you're just trying to get back onto the ledge or get back onto this, like, near the ledge, so that way you can be able to get past the opponent and then get into center stage and then get back to neutral. Or if they overextended, you turn it around easily. So the reason that I just bring it up a little bit about this, let me type this real quick. Major goal of disadvantage is to just return, not of neutral, but to neutral. So you can have all your tools at your disposal. And the reason I bring it up is that for you, and again, I keep saying, like, Scrub so far isn't punishing it like as much as he could, but like those, like, landing on stage kind of like that, even if, say for example, the Scrub decides to not pluck banana at that situation, and instead just, like, just kind of stands there and just wait. With him being that close, he can do that at any time, and just decide to actually go underneath and attack you, being that close and trying to land on stage like that. Because in a sense, him seeing that you're landing on as he's plucked bananas, you not respecting the fact that he's kind of right there and could decide to just come and attack you at any time. So that's the only real big worry of your disadvantage right now, is I think that it's not rushing, not really like insanely rushing per se, besides just like in that position of like being edge guarded. Even with double jumps, he can decide to keep pushing you and burning your double jumps, or force you to go back to the ledge with just a little pressure is all. So just something that probably won't happen too much in this step, but just something to keep in mind. I want to say just for maybe future matches, for something with your disadvantage. If that makes sense, or like if you have any questions about that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Let's see. Oh, well, a great thing to come back to is just seeing that down smash won't kill because of him hitting the side.
Yeah, that was pretty unfortunate. I mean, he had a bit of an audience, and people were like, "Oh God."
Hey, all good.
I was able to close it out.
Yep, you're able to close it out and just bring it to 1-1 situation here. Let's move on to next game here.
When it comes to like getting kills or like just hypersense situations, I really focus on not panicking. I mean, obviously your heart rate's gonna increase a lot. You're gonna get more stress, but being Ridley, sometimes it's hard to secure kills, but due to the lack of like kill setups. So I really just, I don't want to say I view percent as not that big of an issue, but like obviously I don't want my opponent to get to like 170, 180. But I'm like okay with it, I guess. I don't let it bother me. I just know that, hey, if you're playing well, you're going to get the kill, and don't overcommit to it.
Yeah, there isn't a reason to do that if there isn't a reason to, like, overextend, especially when you are in the lead like that, because the kill will eventually come towards you. So there's no reason to try and force the issue. You can always pressure, but you won't have the reason like really just go for like crazy reads when they aren't there, when you haven't seen like your opponent doing the things that you're wanting them to do to actually get the read. Let's see, so disadvantage. Okay. It's a little interesting route right there. Jumping, what is this? So this jump over, was that just to grab, basically just to grab banana kind of right there?
Yeah, I mean, I saw that, like, okay, he's committed to shield. I'm just gonna go grab banana and see what I can do with it.
Okay.
I tech rolling a lot.
Is that just like a fear of like being closer towards like the stage, or I mean towards the blast zone?
I don't know if it's that. It might also be I try and play at the speed of other characters sometimes when I really shouldn't be. So I'll want to like hold forward against some characters that are like really fast paced.
Why did this happen here? Okay. So yeah, so kind of seeing a little bit here. He's starting to catch on a little bit on like you stalling out your jumps like that. So he decided to just immediately try and go for the bear. So he slightly misspaced it, but had he spaced it right, that would have been your stop. I mean, he gets it late.
I drifted back a little bit to avoid it, but definitely forced out the panic air dodge as well.
But yeah, but the kind of like the point was just kind of kind of just across there is that he's starting to just get a little more comfortable with like you stalling out and trying to get onto the stage a bit and starting to go for those. So even though he misspaced it a little bit, like you said, you kind of drifted back, he's starting to wise up to the fact that you're kind of doing that. So that might be an issue coming on later in the matches.
Yeah.
Ooh. Now I have this other, it doesn't have anything to do with, what is it? This doesn't have anything to do, I want to say, with your topics, but I do also see quite a bit of your neutral is jumping, like full hopping quite a bit.
Sure.
Just kind of curious why that is, if you have like a reason for it.
I think, at least in this matchup specifically, being able to stay in the air a bit more is good because of his monkey flip. I also just like it because it gives me quite a bit of options, especially because I'm afraid of him throwing banana too. They're saying that like I should just stay grounded more, or maybe short hop more.
I don't think it's not like in this situation, Scrubs, like really punishing it either too much.
Oh.
Like he's trying to, because I can see how he's playing. He's trying to find a way to punish it. Because I think what he's focusing on when he has banana is he's trying to actually like we'll scroll back a little bit when you did like a full hop before the stock was lost. But yeah, like you can see, like he was trying to dash back. He was considering, should I actually throw banana? Like he was trying to actually punish the landing itself. And then he decided to just side B monkey flip to try and punish it too. So he's still trying to struggle to punish it, so it's not Badger going for them. The just kind of in general with like going with full hops kind of like that, even just to avoid banana. I think you just might be drifting a little too close in underneath him when you're actually trying to full hop. And just kind of fundamentally when you're above someone kind of like that. Actually, I'll swap over real quick. Let me see, because I do have my Twitch set up here, so I was just going to swap over and just like show something on that. So, and are you able to see this right now?
Yes.
Okay. So, and we'll go ahead and just. Oh, I forgot about it was this stage. But yeah, fundamentally, just like when you're actually full hopping over someone kind of like this, or actually I'll set the CPU to just full hop for us. So yeah, that's a full hop, and I'll have it just. Let's see, we'll actually. Nope. Full hop, mash toggle. Where are you? There you are.
Doing
yeah, I'm seeing it doing double jumps basically, but let's change that. Dash, pummel. Your follow-up is to just do one jump. Oh, well, I know what I need to do. I don't know why I'm actually messing with this feature, because it's already a feature in the game.
Yeah, okay.
So basically, when you kind of like full hop kind of like this, like just to kind of like avoid things, even though, even with Ridley, when like he has multiple jumps like this, the thing that just becomes very scary whenever you do something like that, and like you're trying to full hop and land on top of someone, is see, if I change it back to actually just stand there, see how long basically like it takes me to just kind of land back down on someone and try to just do nair basically from full hop. Like that time where like you're just trying to land and like maybe get over something, and even if you decide to like, you know, drift back and get away from them, that's the time that someone's able to just easily just run underneath and just like attack you preemptively, instead of what Scrub's kind of doing when he's trying to actually just punish your landings. So like, even if, let's say for example, like we'll do the same thing for Diddy, we'll actually have him delay his option that he's going to do, have him fastball. Have him do his back air instead. So we have that. And then last, have him delay that. So obviously he can fastball delay it a lot more than that, but before he can actually decide to fastball and do it, he has to reach the apex of his jump before he's able to actually like fastball and do it. He's a little delaying it a little bit, but the idea is that if you're doing this, trying to land and try to either either attacks them with shield like this or decide to, try and get away from them. If they see this, they can just decide to, on reaction, let's see, just jump out of shield and try to punish you, or if they're just waiting down below, they can just jump up or even run up to you, basically.
Control the space below.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that is something I do try to watch out for. In this matchup specifically, the reason why I was keeping up there is because I knew that he liked to do like some aerial options, and he wasn't really, besides like up smash, he wasn't really anti-airing me with anything on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that, okay, he's gonna stay in shield and wait for me to do an aerial. So if I just did an empty land, like just a little bit away from him, I would probably be okay.
Right. And yeah, like I said, your your reasoning for it, like, it's not bad. Because it's definitely it makes sense, especially because he's not doing something like that.
Yeah.
It just didn't want it to be like, too much of a habit for that to actually maybe take to some situations, or like take to other matches, because there was situations that Scrub has been punishing you not for basically like punishing you like for trying to do that in like the first couple games. I think I noticed a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead back here. Yeah, you were definitely calling out his timing when he wants to pluck banana, like with both those dash attacks and trying to pressure from like a good distance away. Mm-hmm. Okay, back inside B. Okay, so yeah, that was his first time he was actually able to actually stop you from full hopping, was him deciding to actually jump up and do a Z-drop bear.
Mm-hmm. This was unfortunate because I almost won that game.
Yeah.
I did the slowdown and I was like just a frame or two off. I could have maybe dash attacked like just a bit earlier, but that was probably one of the most important situations of this set. I also had been dash attacking a lot there as well, and it would have worked because it was like a thing. I think I was just a little bit too slow.
Yeah, off of the weak hit there, and then try to go for a dash attack. So yeah, it's a good setup there. Just bad. Unfortunate wasn't able to actually get pulled off there in that situation, but I like the attempt.
Yeah.
So let's see. So game 4. So let's watch more of what's kind of happening here. Yeah, so like that, kind of like this full hop here. It's not like he actually did punish you, but yeah, it's just see how long it took you to kind of come back down, and like when he was in a good position, like just right underneath the plat, to just on reaction, him decide to run underneath, even throw banana, like maybe throw banana, or even like jump up himself too. There, good F tilt. So scary. Oh, fortunate we were on stage there.
I saw it coming, so I'm like, I am holding in for dear life, and
I
was ready. I was ready to hopefully tech the side of the stage, but fortunately I was
on it, so no reason, no need to actually. All that. How did that not hit?
Okay, so there's a little, essentially a phantom hit. If you look at the hitbox on whatever the website's called, there's a tiny sour spot on the end. It's so unfortunate because that down B was completely intentional. I accidentally do down B and it hits sometimes, and I take it and I'm like, let's go. That one was completely planned, but there was just a little sliver that they have. It's a little bit lower.
There we go. Oh, there's the move. There's the move in question.
So it's got a lot of startup, but it's got a little sliver of a sour spot. Right there.
What
That
is
little
that?
purple at the end. That's what I hit him with. I've hit people with that so many times, and it bothers me so much because it only does like 3 damage as opposed to like 69.
Sakurai, what do you mean the game isn't finished yet?
So tragic. I don't know why it's a thing. It's like a tipper, but not.
That's like, there's a character that has a similar thing like that.
Sephiroth, smash attacks, do that.
Yeah, though I know they intentionally did that, but there's some characters that like I know for a fact it was not intentional to have that, but they have like the sweet spot covered up by what was it? The sweet spot covered up by like, you know, a sour spot. This Ivy's Dare is an intentional one, but that's one that comes to mind basically because they toned down the sweet spot of the inner hitbox. But there was another character's move that I can't remember right now, but that's just crazy. That like you did the math right, you woke up early to get that all set up, and Sakurai just said, "No, we didn't set that up for you. I'm sorry."
It happens. I've kind of just gotten in a mindset where something doesn't work is really, I'm just like, all right, I can't focus on it, or I'm gonna eat a bunch of damage if I think about stuff too long.
Yep. You just said like, okay, that happened. Well, gotta move on. Good weight there. Good. Yep.
So right here, I move out of the way just because, and the barrel lands right where I was standing. And I just shook my head.
Oh, when you said when you moved slightly here.
So yeah,
wow.
Like, I just randomly decide like, yeah, I'm just gonna hold center stage a bit more. Boom. I'm like, okay.
This boss, you've seen a little too many got hit by a little too much, so not gonna let that be a thing anymore.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wasn't expecting the barrel at all because he did like a upbeat in the stock a little bit earlier, so I thought that would like despawn his other barrel, sort of like Pac-Man's trampoline. I just moved in to get under the platform a little bit, and I was like, oh, okay, hello.
Oh yeah.
So right there, a little bit before when I get a get up attack to hit his banana, I learned like, okay, so I can't. Yeah, just before that trip get up.
Oh yeah.
So I tried to get up attack without the banana. I was like, okay, so I can't do that. I noticed a little bit later. I'll show you what happens later. I guess I'll bring it up when it happens. But basically, I figured out like you can just drop down rising in the air to grab it instead.
Oh yeah, in order to get that. Yeah, there's quite a few creative ways that they allowed you to actually be able to pick up items, like even being able to catch it as it's being thrown towards you.
Yeah. I would do that a couple times accidentally with dash attack.
Yep,
I would
like
do a
right
dash
there.
I would do a dash attack if I noticed that like he might throw it to either hit him before he throws it. Like I'll time it before he throws it. I'll do it a little bit early because it's a big attack. So that way, if he does manage to get it out, I also grab it and then hit him.
Okay. Oh, try to pressure ledge aim. Yep, pressure.
There I waited because I knew last time I died for trying to dash attack a shield, so I backed off a bit and just nared.
Yeah, it's still good pressure, not letting him really get back towards towards like, center stage for like a good amount of time. This is what I would probably say, like, kind of like that example there, basically, when I was talking about, disadvantage, like, not trying to actually rush back out. Like, scrub isn't, what's the word? Let me scroll back here a little bit more. Because I think it starts right here after you reverse get back on.
Yeah.
Or well, actually, once he goes to the left side here.
Hmm.
So yeah, you're not
So
really. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I think I was gonna say what you were gonna say.
Oh well, I was about to say like you're not really like when you were like had him in like that advantage state, like you weren't really like going hard committal on things. You're just putting safe pressure on him, then backing up because like that again, that's just kind of like the role is that they just want to get back to center stage and they'll just do it however they possibly can. So you putting on the safe pressure and telling them they need to like right there. Like you just poked the shield, just tested him, and you just dash attack because maybe you're calling out he was going to jump. Cool. Okay, this should be it.
Yep. I had done that more.
Oh, you were down too. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, no, I was down a lot. Like I was waiting for him to do that. That was like my whole plan. I'd done it like twice before that day. I won game 3 against Trip, a Falco player. Because like I was at like 160, he was at 0, and I knew that he caught me with up smash at ledge because I would jump. So I jumped out, waited for his option, grabbed him. He was smart and didn't panic, but I ended up hitting him with a fair, and he fell out of it, and he buffered an air dodge, and that he was not happy with it, but you know.
Yeah, Spaceys and their air dodges off stage. I'm sorry, but not everyone was created equal, as we found out with Ridley down B. Okay. Well, yeah, a lot of it so far is a lot of like, back and forth evenness there. So I'm really curious what's kind of like this deciding factor, because you said you lost this set, right?
Yes, I did. This game, he sort of, I don't know if I was, might have been a little bit shaken up with the last game and knowing that, okay, I only won that because, I mean, it definitely was a gimmick, but it was something I planned. And I just know that, hey, if people aren't going to respect that, I'm going to hit them with it. But I do get kind of blown up this game. Sort of a mix of him just camping me out harder.
I think it's also the fact that, like, remember what I was mentioning about you wanting to, like, sometimes jump onto ledge and also maybe, like, full hop, like, in neutral. It's also that aspect of it being more, like, being FD also, so that way he has more time to try and prep and try to mess you up for doing that.
Yeah, so I don't have the platforms to mix up landing.
Well, here's the sleep shop's answer.
Also, I think I'm mashing a bit more and not playing nearly as patient as I need to be. When you get to that early stock lead and I sort of just fall apart.
Yeah, it just kind of like seemed to whip by in the flash, basically, too. So, so I completely understand why that might have shook you up a little bit. But yeah, you definitely have the right, like you said earlier in the session, like you have the right idea of, sometimes stuff like that just happens. Like you can't dwell on it because like how does you dwelling on it actually help?
Yeah.
Okay. What is that? Just another banana? Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I knew he was going to do an aggressive option. I guessed wrong on which option it was. He went with banana instead of something else.
Alright, so you tried the graph there. Ooh, was that a dash attack that you did, or? Oh, okay.
Other way, yeah. I think I probably was mashing a bit, to be honest. I'm not exactly sure. I knew it wasn't a good option.
Okay, because yeah, like you had the good positioning to call out that high monkey flip that he was about to do. It was just unfortunate the dash attack came out before that. Oh, got that first stock there. We're moving.
So here, my game plan was okay, edgeguard him and try and side B him at the ledge again. Like that was my game plan, and hope that if I could get an early edgeguard, it would make him sort of forget about the past game. It almost works, but you'll see.
Okay, let's see. Okay, yep. There we go. Oh!
Yep. It was tragic. He looked at me, he's like, I didn't mean it, I knew it either. And I was content. I was like, okay, you know what, fine. It was foreshadowed earlier. It was like a written story. I was like, you know what, I'm not even mad.
Yeah, he was about to say, they literally sent all the barrels at you to try and stop you.
They did. There were several barrels. I think 3 ended up hitting me. 2 of them almost did. So I had like 5 go at me after an edge guard.
Right, and like it was such a good sequence too for how you're edge guarding him. So, I think this was actually go straight into the next topic for like your edge guarding, like choosing between the two, because I don't think, minus that one interaction I pointed out before, that there wasn't like any other interactions that I wanted to say too much about for choosing to go to ledge trap or to edge guard. So we'll just kind of maybe just talk about it a little bit here. So for your edge guarding, I had 2 questions here, but I'm not sure if these are too relevant anymore now. Because I think you already answered one of them, like which one you felt like you felt more comfortable doing, which I think you said you felt comfortable with your ledge trapping, especially that day.
Yeah, in the set before especially, I don't know if we'd have time. I'd be willing to extend the time if you're able to, but it was against the Bowser, and there were several times where I could have just ran off sweet spot and aired. I just stuck with sticking on the ledge.
If we have a little time here, let me try and go through these little topics here about like edge guarding, and we can possibly see, or we also still have to talk a little bit about the shielding there, but we'll get to that in a moment. So which one I felt more comfortable? So you felt ledge trapping, especially that day. And so then my other question is, when do you feel like it's best to do one or the other? Like, do you have a answer you feel like you have in mind for that?
So when it comes to ledge trapping versus edge guarding, I usually will try and ledge trap if I know that edge guarding an opponent, A, might not kill them, say if they have like resources still, or B, it's a recovery I'm not too familiar with. Because if I do know that, like, okay, you either have to go here or here, I can just follow where you're going and intercept it. If I feel like I can do that, I will just run off and hit them. But if I'm not sure, sometimes what I'll do is I'll shoot a fireball, see if I can bait out a resource like an air dodge or a jump. Then sometimes I'll run off. But I really don't like, just especially if my opponent's out low percent and they have like this pretty solid recovery, I won't go out there, because if I miss, it puts me on the ledge because my recovery is not very fast. But usually it's, if I don't hit this, I am now putting myself off the ledge, and that's really not good. As Ridley, I want to try and avoid disadvantage for as long as possible.
Exactly.
So it's sort of that risk-reward thing. Or if I feel like, okay, I can get the edge guard and get the kill here, I might as well go for it. If I either A, don't feel like I need to, like if I know like, hey, I'm playing fine, things keep going at this pace, this is good, just keeping my opponent in a disadvantaged situation longer. And also, I know that also can frustrate people. Like, I've taken games off people by literally just staying at the ledge and just not letting them play. But if I feel like, okay, I like, say if it's like Cloud or something, well, maybe not Cloud's not the best example because I can get 2 from F tilt is up B. Like Pyramithra, sometimes I'll be like, okay, I need to secure this kill. The only way this matchup is winnable is if I exploit their edge or the recovery.
Okay. And you said that's usually like, that's one of the examples of like when you'll decide to go out and edge guard, or?
Yeah, I'll usually edge guard if I feel like, okay, checkmate, and I'm comfortable with it. Or if I know, like, hey, I really need to get this, I need to be hitting my edge guards in these situations. Like with Min, for example. I play Quill quite a bit, and I know that, hey, I have to get these.
And is that out of like because the recovery sucks, or like it's a or it's just like a hard time to fight them usually, or
Yeah, so especially with Min, it's because the recovery is not that great, and that's especially where I need to exploit it. Min Ridley is really rough. Unless I'm getting my edge guards.
okay. Yeah, I think we're kind of like in agreement basically on that. Point out there's kind of all the things that I kind of wrote in like this topic here for pros and cons of ledge trapping, because basically I see edge guarding is that it's a high chance of sealing stocks early with like imps or kills or close to the blast zone, which is great when as you pointed out there, when you need to go off and kill someone, because like if you don't, you're just going to have a bad time on stage, because they just run things on stage basically. And it's the other good thing that is, I want to say, kind of like edge guarding, that's good about edge guarding, is that on most cases there's less to consider, because it's basically just like, will they go high with their recovery or low with their recovery? And since you're close to the stage, you can oftentimes like be able to maybe snipe those out or maybe scare them, like you said with Ridley's fireballs is something you can kind of force them to go one way or the other to burn something. And then like you said, despite there's less to consider, you guess wrong, you're put in a high situation where you can get reversed or lose your stock, which no one wants that to actually happen, especially with you won't feel too bad about it if like you're at higher percent, like you're edge guarding someone and maybe you're at just 40% and then something went wrong and you got gimped.
Yeah, and it's usually more less about getting gimped, because you can gimp Ridley, especially if you are good at exploiting his recovery, which people just aren't. But it's largely just giving up stage control. And putting myself on the ledge.
Let's see here. So going on to ledge trapping. Pros with that, there's less risk involved. So, if you get hit, you're just going to be sent back to center stage. Basically, you won't be at risk of dying a lot of times. So you're just back in neutral. Basically, you're back in neutral now, and you just get to play with a little less risk there. But on the opposite side, there is a little more to think about, with the different options, but you can mitigate that with a good flow chart, which it seems like you do have a good one of doing F tilt to kind of pressure the hang, and then, just kind of sitting back either in shield or running back like you've been doing. And then missed out opportunities to kill opponents and allowing a chance to play. This was the only con that I want to say when you hear a lot of people actually complain about ultimate players not going off stage, the main reason this is just kind of like just this thing here is that like it's a con that you can listen to it and you don't have to per se like always have to be off stage, but it is some truth into it that like like we said with Min for example, if it's a character that you have issues with on stage, but like they have a very bad recovery, or even if they don't have a bad recovery, they're still a character that's better on stage than you, is at least better to try and maybe pressure them so that way you can burn something out of them, so that way you have a chance of maybe killing them early. So both of these, and then this is just me just basically talking a bit more on the topic of like just those two, and also like a little flow chart that you can maybe use to help out at least with edge guarding a little bit to make you feel more comfortable, because it seems like you have one for your ledge guarded, but it just brings into mind about like just two things that like you want for both edge guarding and ledge guarding, which is putting pressure on someone to do something or risk getting hit, which is again, edge guarding is the Ridley fireball, or another thing is like just drifting close to them and just being kind of close to them when they're off stage. And then ledge guarding is what you already do. It's like two framing or pressuring the ledge hang, and then forces them to choose option or risk getting hit.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, just refusing to give them the easy way out, which is, I'll show this one for edge guarding because you already do what I was going to mention for ledge guarding here. Oh, I apologize. I didn't realize that was on just the gameplay the entire time.
Sorry, say that again?
Oh, it was just for something for like the recording afterwards. I forgot to swap it over to the other screen for the display for like the recording later. So like you'll see after the recording basically. But yeah, I'll swap over to
with the OBS.
Yeah, for the OBS. Okay, but I'll swap over now for the game here so you can be able to take a look and see it. And he's still jumping. So, not save defaults, reset on the user. You want to set on default. I still think they didn't fix it. That still didn't fix it, if I remember what I changed. So for the thing I have here about when someone is kind of like off stage and threatening them, like say you don't use like a Ridley fireball, but like you're just being really close to them off stage. So this is off. And let's do that and force him off stage. Now I need him to go a little further away. This might... Yep, I was about to say that might have killed him. Yep, it did. Because it reset immediately. Okay, that's perfect. So, the idea that I think like with edge guarding that might help out quite more people who don't feel too comfortable with it is this idea of being diagonally from the opponent and usually above them. Because what it does is it first off forces them to kind of go low. Because if they jump up high, you're just going to beat them with a fair, basically. But if they go low like this, you can easily meet them because you're diagonally going down towards them, and then you just get closer than there. And then the kind of thing that you do to kind of, bait options out from them is, like you said with your fireball, just jump back and get the ledge or on stage. And then the only time that you would immediately go towards it when you're not that close to them is when they actually are above you diagonally. Because at that point, they're obviously going to try and get past you because they see their opening there in that situation. So you just might as well rush yourself back to ledge and get ready for a play from the ledge, or like from hanging on the ledge, or like just get ready for a ledge trap. If that makes sense for you there. Let's see. Are you still there, or? Hello?
Sorry, say that last bit again. I heard up until when your opponent's above you diagonally. I heard that part, but just after that.
So you say like when they're so you heard this part when you're above them diagonally, or when they're above you diagonally?
When they're above me diagonally.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so
It's
when
like
they're
not-
above you diagonally, they're basically going to, more often than not, they'll try and do a recovery option to get past you because they're going to, because if they're above you, you obviously, your only attacks that you're going to be able to do is you're only going to be able to, up air, and then you're going to have to recover yourself because now they're going to get to the stage before you, and you're going to have to fight their ledge dropping and things like that. So you'll want to, instead of doing that, just get back to the stage before them if they're above you, and then like set up for a ledge trap, or set like from the ledge, or from like actual ledge trapping like you've been doing. So you can just think of it easily as like just a seesaw. So when you're above them, just drift towards them and like hit the person that's further below you on the seesaw. But when you're below them on the seesaw and it goes down, you want to instead just get back to stage and then get ready for the ledge pressure situation.
Yeah. The thing that I struggle with especially is characters that like easily. It's not that big of an issue, obviously, because they don't have very many options. But it's characters that have like can either mix up their recovery because they have good offstage stall options, or because the recovery's fast and comes out fast and goes far. That's where I really struggle, because Ridley, he does have a couple of jumps so I can stay out there for a little bit, but my up B is pretty slow. And it's very linear. Like if I'm gonna be edge guarding someone, I'm gonna have to be like directly under the ledge when I up B.
Yep.
So like I can't afford to like recover from like a Lucina angle, for example. Like I would die there, or at the very least, put myself in a really bad spot. And let's use like Lucina for an example. Characters like her, it's really hard for me to edge guard her, I feel like, because in order to edge guard characters with fast recoveries like that, the best way to kill them is to prevent them from getting in a spot where they can recover. Because it's really hard to intercept her recovery, I feel like, just because it's so fast. And it's also just risky because you can just die if they hit you.
Yeah. So yeah, instead of like for characters like that, it is better to just kind of focus on, the spot where they are going to be before they do their up B. Because that's the other part of like, that seesaw effect that I was telling you is you hit them. The seesaw is that you meet them before you get into position to be able to recover to the ledge. So as we're just watching here, Lucina kind of has to go all the way like right here, or actually even like say, as they double jump and as they're about to climb onto screen, that's the point where they can even like up B and go up high. So that'd probably be like
in situations like this, if they burn their double jump here, and I recognize that their resource, just like that. If I notice that someone's resource is gone, that's especially when I'll edge guard them, because I'm like, okay, you can't air dodge anymore. Sure, maybe you can recover high, but I can just up B and go past ledge and hit them. Like you saw in the set against Scrub, I did do that and I hit him out of his up B. But then obviously I died the next interaction. But things like that, it's when people do have the resources, and that's why I'll like to try and force it out with a fireball. But
yeah, so yeah, a character like Ridley, that's definitely a good thing that they can do while safely be on stage. For most characters in general, when they don't have like the option like a Ridley fireballs to kind of either push them out more, they kind of do like this effect of like kind of drift towards the opponent and try to oh, why did not save our percent? Here we go. Kind of drift towards them after like you push them out, and just follow that like seesaw effect, where like you'll just push them out and try to just, as you're forcing them to go low, put a hitbox where they need to either jump, or if they're not going to jump there and they jump even earlier, then like, oh, okay, so instead of them waiting this. Oh, that's probably because I pinned the sweet spot. That's why it's going that far out. Yep. So instead of them deciding that they are going to have to actually, jump right there to try and maybe recover because they're going to try to go up high or something. If we do the sweet spot one, where the Lucina is trying to go a little lower, and now just decide to follow them out there, we're able to just easily just intercept them because like we're still staying at a good distance away from them to not get hit by any of their attacks. So if they swing, then on reaction we're going to hit them. But if they don't, we're just going to get closer and closer to them, and then like put a hitbox and jump back closer to the stage.
Yeah. That's sort of where the risk reward kind of comes in, because the problem with Ridley's up B, since it's so slow, is that if they do get past me, they'll have enough time to get back to the ledge, get on stage, and then set up a ledge trap of their own. Whereas, like, if Lucina tried to edgeguard someone, Lucina misses, she just immediately up B's back to ledge, and at worst, it's a scramble situation.
So in those kind of situations like that, where so what you're saying, like if you do miss, for example, and like now it's a edge guard, it's a reversal situation like that. The thing I guess to keep in mind is that just knowing you as like a player, like if you're a player that like normally hits something like that, like you'll go off stage, you'll actually do that. Let's say like that certain day, because there always will be that same risk ratio regardless of what character is that you're playing on average. If you as a player, if you evaluate that risk ratio, that like the reward is normally good, but like the missing part, like with risk reward ratio is like the success of it. If normally there's always that same risk of like you go off edge guarding, could possibly die or get reversed. The reward is an early stock too, but say the success rate, your actual success rate of like going off stage and doing that is normally good, but that day in bracket it's not that good, then it's honestly fine to just actually stay on stage. Because let's say we drift too far out, and like you're saying, now we have to recover back up like this, and maybe we might die off of this trade. If we're having issues doing that because of the player, like either we're having issues ourselves, like mechanically doing that day, or the player that we're playing is just like outsmarting us every single time, like off stage like this, then it's perfectly fine to just at least get them off stage and just set up a ledge trap. Ledge go off and just run off, threaten that you're going to go off stage and just pressure, and maybe see if they'll actually burn the option, and then just go back into the ledge jump traffic like you're kind of saying there.
Okay. Yeah, so you're saying like instead of like even running off the edge guard, immediately bait it out, and then you would option they do to respond to me coming off stage, and use that information later.
Yep.
Okay.
Because yeah, that'll at least get them, at least give them the idea that you could, because you have been doing it. Because like per se, you have been doing it like during the set, like you would go off stage, you realize that they're mixing you up, like getting back onto the ledge, so you decide to like focus more on ledge trapping, but then all of a sudden you mix up that, oh hey, I could run off stage and try and pressure you. That might be that one little mix up to like start getting them to start figuring out what it is that they're doing to mix you up on, and be able to be more accurately like go off stage, pressure real quick, and come back on, or at least make them, like you said, burning option, or make them panic a little bit. Do you have questions about that, or?
No, I think that makes sense. I think it's just one of those things where when it comes to edge guarding, I feel like I really should only do it if I need to in that matchup, like specifically like Min, for example, or if there's a very high likelihood that I can just secure a stock here. Because otherwise, I said it before, I would rather stay on stage, go for a 2-frame, because if I hit the 2-frame, they don't have a double jump, they're just dead most of the time. That day I wasn't hitting my 2-frames like at all, but it's also it's fine because if I miss my F tilt, it's a relatively fast move. Well, it doesn't have much end lag at the very least. I know that keeping people on the ledge is frustrating. Like, I've seen players like visibly get frustrated because I'm just keeping them on the ledge the whole game. So just abusing that can really go a long way.
Because yeah, they're really thinking it's like, I paid $60 just to hang on this ledge.
Yeah, it's one of those things also because as Ridley, I forget who said it, but someone described it really well. If you're playing as Ridley, your disadvantage is really bad and you want to avoid it at all costs, but you have to know what's going to happen. By being able to just ledge trap people, I'm able to just extend advantage in neutral much longer, and if I can avoid disadvantage for a long time, that's where Ridley really succeeds. It's just outplaying or just basically just outplaying your opponent over and over and over again and not letting them abuse your weaknesses like that is really how Ridley can shine.
Yeah, I'd say whoever did give you that advice, it's good for a character like Ridley to keep in mind. It has helped you so far for like your thinking patterns with neutral with advantage, as you were saying, and you're never really getting too reversal when you do actually go off stage like that too often. I'll bring this one other quick thing up as well, for that situation of where Scrub when Scrub was off stage and like he was kind of hanging onto the stage, and he was about to like up B back on. Something that, for instances like that, when someone's like, basically like right below there as they're trying to like, up B back on. Yeah, I know that you're kind of like on stage and you didn't want to obviously run off and just like try to drift off and do a back air kind of like that. I'm curious, how comfortable
are you doing gameplay stuff right now?
Oh, yep, sorry about that.
Yeah, you're cool. I just want to make sure you just switched over.
Yep. So something that I was going to bring up for like the thing with Scrubs, where like he was right here about to recover, like, up B towards the stage, like with barrels, and you were kind of like on stage like this. You obviously didn't want to run off and like try and do that because you may have been too late by that time. I'm curious, how comfortable do you feel with running like ledge hanging, for example, or like doing like instant trumps into getting into this situation?
I'm not terrible at it. I definitely can, but it might take me a bit of time, and I'm not completely consistent with it. And it's also, I feel that's just like a lot of setup because you gotta grab the ledge and then let go of the ledge and then get your attack out. Like I feel like I would need to be really ready for that. And at that point, if I do have that much time, it's probably just easier to just run off and hit them. But I will hang there sometimes. Like if I know that like my opponent's really far off stage, I'll hang there so I can drop down in back air because that's definitely my strongest aerial.
Yeah, hanging on ledge just to kind of maybe even not deteriorate, but deter them from actually doing certain things like that too. Because you just hanging there and just anytime going off easily can be able to punish them with like your back air, with your neutral air, if you're just hanging there like you're saying. What about I'm not sure. Have you heard of ledge slips before? Because I showed ledge jumps, but do you know about like ledge slips where like you're teetering from the edge and like if you just like walk off slightly, you're able to just kind of like, you know, you're basically able to like just be really close to the stage. It helps with ledge jumps too, but like it allows you to like really be able to just like slightly walk off and then be able to like fastball. Because when you fastball, you don't grab the ledge, so it might actually get you a little faster to getting there basically, and punishing something like that. I'm just wondering if like maybe that's something you might have messed with, or like if you knew about too, that maybe you could add into your play if you see that's a common thing that happens in certain matchups.
So it definitely is something I know of. Usually when someone's like riding up the stage, also a major reason why I don't always go down there is they can just tech. Now, obviously, if they tech, you can try hitting them again, but usually it's one of the things where it's like, okay, if I miss them, I'm off stage and disadvantage. If I hit them and they tech, they're going to be able to get the ledge faster than me because my up B is slow and does not have a hitbox during its startup. So they could reversal me or at least get on ledge and get stage control again.
Right.
Or even if I do hit them and they tech and I can try and hit them again, I'm burning resources, and that's like at least another jump wasted that I could then get hit off stage without an extra jump. It's one of the things where if I feel like my opponent is good enough that they're going to be teching things, usually putting someone in a situation like that is not
normally worth it, basically.
Yeah. Now, it's not terrible if I'm able to maintain space. Like, with my thing where I grab people with my side B, usually I'll throw to try and release them under the stage. That way I can, like, still hit them while they're riding the wall up, but I'll be able to space it out with my fair. But going for, like, a ledge slip and, like, riding the wall completely gets rid of my range advantage in the air. So usually I opt to just ledge trap in those situations.
Instead of like trying to go for like a risky play with it that may not pay off. So I get that. I just thought I would give those as possible options for, you know, more like niche situations. Because the only reason I bring it up is like for Diddy, for him when he has barrels, he's not able to, if I remember correctly, but I'd have to actually remember correctly for like the Diddy matchup, is that he isn't able to actually like tech actually tech when he's hit out of barrels, because it sends into like a tumble animation for him where like he's tumbling and then he's waiting and then he has to wait for that tumble to be able to actually do his barrel, like to up B again.
Sure. Yeah, I think
unless it hits the stage, I think, but but yeah, I just brought that up just kind of like, you know, for those more niche things, like for Diddy, or say like it's really high percents and like, you know, for example, you going off stage and doing the snare will actually trigger a untechable. Or as you said before, if it's someone that you're playing that isn't really good with techs, it's like with teching, it's just something you can maybe employ just to maybe help yourself finish out stocks a little earlier. So that way maybe you won't have to, as long as you're comfortable with doing that, like it'd be something that can maybe help out with feeling more comfortable stealing out stocks when someone's kind of hanging to here, as long as the conditions are like good to use that for, like you're saying, because you obviously don't want to go off stage at like maybe this percent for Lucina. They're trying to recover like up B this way with a recovery that's hard for you to hit normally.
You're not showing gameplay if you're meaning to right now.
Why did I actually do that again? Alright, we're going back into the cycle here. Um, but yeah, it's obviously not, you know, beneficial for you to like at 56% run off, try to back your Lucina if you're trying to recover like this. Um, if like you said, you're expecting them to be a good player, and they have shown that they can tech in those situations. Plus, also, it's a percent that isn't going to force a untechable. So it wouldn't make much sense, like you're saying, to like go off stage and do that compared to special characters like Diddy, where like if they get hit out rockets, they won't have a chance to tech, or it's really high percent where you're like, okay, I know for a fact if I go off stage, do a ledge slip and do a nair or something like that, this will cause it untechable, so they will die from it.
And sometimes against characters that don't have great recoveries, I'll go for it, especially if I know that my move won't be strong enough to put them in a tech situation, because it will just hit them, they'll be in the hit lag, and then just won't be able to recover because they have a poor recovery.
Yep. So let's try to think. So I'll just reveal this part, because we basically just talked about kind of the criterias before already of like when you should actually decide to go off and when to and when not. So just going down the list real quick, when the edgeguard is like when recoveries are linear, predictable, opponent, you burn them out of their options, like they don't have a jump, or maybe it's who's a character like Sheik, for example, they don't have a jump, you burn their bouncing fish, they're really far out that like them doing an upbeat will not make it on the stage unless they go really low, so you meet them there. And playing a player or matchup that has better tools than you, neutral tools, or like things on stage, as we said. And then when the ledge trap, the recovery is difficult to challenge, like because either it's hard to maintain like that seesaw like easily against the character because of them having multiple jumps, their height for their double jump, their gravity, etc., and like maybe their disjointed attacks or recovery for like when you're trying to actually go off and meet them. So those would be like reasons for maybe when you would ledge trap, to add on to what you said before. I think I'm going to try and hit just talking about like shielding, because I didn't point too much out about it like in the VOD, but just kind of briefly mention it because we're a little over time, but like I don't mind actually just saying this real quick before we kind of go. So shielding, from what I think about it, because you brought up that might seem like a little habit for you, is that shielding isn't a bad thing, but it does lose out on some potential, only because like shielding is really good. It's really good when you have good out of shield options, and also like when your opponent's like is facing incorrectly, because those are good times where like you can be able to use your shield like with shield grabs or like out of shield options. But like if there are things that I think like you don't want to rely on too much, because those are things usually out of your control. Like you're not the programmer that gave Ridley his frame data or his moves, because if you were, you sure as hell would not have gave him that down B like that. And then also for the spacing, opponent spacing incorrectly, like that's you really needing to bank on the fact that your opponent is bad, and they can't space around your shield in order for some options to actually be able to work out of shield. Not to say that you still can't punish them, but it's just a lot more difficult, and you have to be more ready when they space that far, far away. So it was just brought up that besides shielding, you can also do other things such as attacking, beating out the attack before it happens. That's kind of the idea that I was talking about with if you jump, you full hopping above Scrub. He wasn't doing this, but instead of trying to punish your landing, he could try and attack before you come down with an attack, and beat it out before it happens. Or as Scrub was trying to do, move away and whiff punish with side Bs and banana tosses, as he was showing.
Yeah, because shield's just committal and staying more mobile, I think, really helps. Especially
Mhm.
as a character who has range.
Yep. So it can help you allow yourself with more options to be able to punish things. Especially if does Ridley's frame data isn't bad out of shield, or is it? I'm not too sure.
Ridley's,
Yeah.
my fastest move is like up smash out of shield. It's not great.
Oh, okay. So yeah, like
Up
11.
smash and nair are my fastest options.
Okay. Yeah. So those moves aren't like insanely insanely good out of shield. And plus also if it I think it said Nair was your fastest one. Was that? Yeah, it said Nair was your fastest one, which because that hitbox starts in front of him, right?
It starts below and in front. So especially if someone's like behind me, my fastest option is back air. And like it's not horrible, but I mean like that's 13 frames. Up smash also starts behind me, but usually I only will up smash out of shield if I know someone's doing like a horribly unsafe option just because it's very committal.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, like the Palutena matchup is so rough because Palutena can just nair land behind me and I just have to respect that.
Because
It's pretty rough.
because there's not really much you can do. You can try to do your up smash or your back air, but like if they're already committing to something that's quicker than it, then you probably won't hit them. Or if they decide to just shield, um, then they get a punish off of it basically.
Hmm.
So it may be a good idea to maybe experiment with more so of maneuvering, like just moving away from things, or deciding to actually attack beforehand. But maybe just try with just
Yeah.
moving away at first, because trying to attack as another attack is coming out like that is much more difficult than the other two options, mainly because you have to understand your character's properties versus their character's properties. Like you have to understand, you know, Lucina has a sword, so that's disjointed, but like maybe you have a quicker option, but if you don't put it out as quick enough, like in time before their attack comes out, then they're just going to beat your attack because it's just going to go through it. So just things like that can make it more difficult to really gauge trading hits like when you both put attacks like that to try and beat someone. Let's see. So from the overview, just like of the session, I'll kind of go back through and just like fill the doc out a bit more. But I think the biggest thing just is like for your disadvantage, just maybe just be a little more careful of and it applies a little bit to your neutral too, but like just kind of double jumping back on when someone's kind of nearby a little bit sometimes, as well as like in neutral, not hanging out like full hopping kind of like over things quite as often as like maybe that you're kind of doing, because towards the end of the set, Scrub was starting to actually try and really punish you for full hopping over, like maybe like even punishing you before you even got into the air. He was trying to actually punish your out of, like I think there was an instance where he punished your out of shield option and tried to get you for that.
Yeah.
The
I think the jumping there was especially like a matchup specific thing. Because I believe in the step before, I was playing Jesse's Bowser, and I know that Bowser's like forward air is ridiculous, but not incredibly safe if spaced poorly. So some matchups I do try to stay more grounded.
So you said that would be one you would try to stay more grounded on, like you said.
Yeah, because with Bowser, I know that he's not really going to be like, he plays obviously much different. He's not as rushed down like It's much easier to hit him with my upward angled forward tilt.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just kind of when it comes to like heavies like that, just sort of I can control the speed of the game. Usually, Diddy usually can control fast, small characters really control game speed. But if I'm able to control the game speed, usually it works out pretty well. Because in that set, I did pretty well against Jesse. Like game 2 is pretty close, but that's because I did something stupid and got myself killed. But like in that set, it was very much I was in control the whole game.
Ooh. Well, I might just after session may just take a look at that a little bit too and see what was
Yeah, it's the set before me and Scrub set on stream. So
Oh, okay. So that was one you wanted to get into face scrub.
yeah, I beat Jesse to play Scrub.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, yeah, I might take a look at that after I finish up the doc and everything, or maybe even peek in just to see if there's some things that I noticed from this set that also had applied over on that one.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's
that's
also
why.
a much faster set. It was a 2-0. So.
Oh, okay. But yeah, that's why I think just like disadvantage habits is just those kind of two things just with like full hops and maybe trying to land on stage. The edge guarding versus ledge trapping was just maybe just kind of keeping those things that we said in mind about it, is that ledge guarding, trying to focus more on that, like when, especially as Ridley, like it's kind of difficult for him to maybe go off stage and make plays oftentimes, besides just maybe threatening them to go low so you can get ledge traps. So maybe that might be your focus, is that your only reason to go off stage, unless it's really obvious where they're going to be, is just to force them to go low. So that way you can at least get your ledge trapping going, since Ridley has a really good ledge trapping game. And then also, like, when you do actually go off stage to edge guard, people just keep in mind like that seesaw kind of effect as you're going towards them. That if you're above them, just drift with them. As long as you're able to recover pretty well and like snipe their low recovery, and then if they're above you, just go back to the ledge as soon as you can, or like get back on stage quickly. So that way you won't actually get reversed. But I think that's about it for the most part on like those topics there. Was there any extra questions that you had, or?
No, nothing else really in particular.
Okay. Yeah, it seemed like kind of went a little bit of everywhere basically, between just a little game, just watching the set, and then also just like discussion there. So I'm hopefully it wasn't too jumbled up for you.
No, it was alright.
Okay, well, yeah, I will try and finish up this doc here and get it sent to you. I want to say, usually takes me a little bit just like to add in some info, so I'll try and work on it later today and get it. If I don't have it done by tonight, I should have it done like in the afternoon after I'm finished with work.
Yeah, sure. I appreciate it. No worries. I'm not doing anything. I'm just quarantining at home, so huge rush.
All right. Are you still feeling all right and everything too, or?
Yeah, I mean, everything else has been, all my symptoms have been getting better. I'm not like achy as much. It's just a cough and sore throat right now.
Oh, okay. I'm glad to hear that. Hopefully, like I said before, make a pretty speedy recovery there from it, and it won't be like won't have like any long-lasting effects, because I know some people say they do have long-lasting effects after catching COVID.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna be fine. I've been feeling better pretty quickly, and I am fully vaccinated, so.
Yeah, that's
pretty
good
optimistic.
Yeah, that's good to hear. So yeah, you've done basically all your parts to try and combat it. All right. Well, I will not keep you here. I'll let you head back to that tournament that you were watching online, and I'll start finishing up this doc for you here. And then if you have like any questions in between then, or even after the doc, you can let me know, and we can maybe just get back in the call and just talk over it or something.
Cool. Yeah, and I guess if you noticed anything about the Bowser set, that would also be appreciated because I feel like I played a lot differently, more comfortably in that set because it's also a matchup I'm more comfortable with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I do notice anything about that too, I'll let you know.
Oh, cool.
Alrighty. Well, pleasure talking with you. And having you just listen to me ramble for a bit. I will catch you later.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Have a nice night.
You too.